Welcome, A-Train All Aboard tourism fans, to A-Train All Aboard Tourism with Omnius Prime. Episode 1, The Art of Transit. All aboard! Prime time with Professor Prime. In this episode, I am going to explain the fine art of transit, how to control your trains and buses, and a lot of other things that are important in the game. Now, the first thing that I like to do is ring the bell. And this is the second scenario called City of Hopes and Dreams. And it's in the easy mode, so this is an easy little playthrough. But what I found was that it was an excellent video or scenario for making a video on. So first thing I like to do is go ahead and go through all of the little silly dialogue. So as you can see, there's no bell up here on the top near the question mark here to the left by the compass here. So I like to, in any scenario, or what I'll do is I'll go through and run time to go through all the the little dialogues just to see what's going on. Because sometimes they'll tell you about stuff a little on the late side. Now, as you'll notice, it's about 12:37 a.m. in the game, and they call me the Midnight Rambler. I like to do all of my building and stuff in, just after midnight, okay? That way I start off basically with the full day for all of my buses and stuff. They're going to be empty, and it just is so much easier to build at midnight and get everything done. I do not build during the day. I do not place buses during the day. Everything is done around midnight so that I get a nice start in the morning. Now, the first thing that I did is to go into securities and go to stocks. So I'm just going to go right straight to what I own already, since I've already bought a bunch of shares, okay? Now, I started off with Hastings Construction and Galaxy Oil. First security that you should ever buy is called First Thing Securities. Very aptly named, okay? It's got a 7.7 dividend yield, which is pretty good, and the shareholder benefit is 2% sale commission reduced to 1, okay? Next, Permanent Realty. Look at that whopping 28.3 dividend yield and a 3% sale commission reduced to 2. HR Guide, Human Resources. Okay, nice 7.2 dividend yield, and shareholder benefit is a 20% increase in supplement staff plan effects. In this game, it doesn't matter. Okay, in this particular scenario. So it didn't really do anything for me per se. But it will in the next scenario. Here I decided to do Destructive Industries, 14% dividend yield, and 10% reduction in demolition expenses for train lines, buildings, other structures. Konjac Steelworks, a 5% reduction in base price for trains. I didn't really buy many trains, 6.8 dividend yield. So I'm always trying to look at dividend yield and what's the shareholder benefit, okay? Reduction in base price for autos. Toho Power is 3% reduction in operating expenses for trains. And Snail Gas, 13.4% dividend yield and 2% reduction in operating expenses for stations. Really don't have that many stations, but I like to just have some stocks and get the little shareholder benefits. Now, if we come back over here and just wanted to take a look. Oh, wait. Let's come back here. My shareholder benefits are 1 million shares. Now, lots of 10,000 Okay, so if I buy 100, that's going to give me the shareholder benefit. So I basically bought 100 shares of each. So I get the shareholder benefits. Now, let's talk about government policies. Okay, and here we have the government policies. Now, these are basically subsidy things. And as you notice, I've already done all of these. First one I did was in Oma Town, where I did two stop signs. And my subsidy ended up being nothing because the subsidy was 90% of the land price. Since I didn't buy any land to build the stops, I didn't get any subsidy. But things like a Suio Village, okay, where the Iberia land is, I built the 3 recreational buildings, and in some places it will be residential buildings and stuff. And here up in Kirikawa Village in the top left is building some roads. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done all except for the Kirikawa Village. Now you can only do one task at a time. So what I do is I pick a task and then I complete it right away. So in other words, building the 2 bus stops in Oma Town, yeah, I did that right away. Then I could build the residential buildings and stuff. Here we have tourist information. We have basically 3 shrines. Now, Iberia land right here in the center is already set up for us. But we have Oima Shrine up here in the top right. We have Suio Onsen Shrine kind of up in the top center. Okay. So very important things. I like to work my government subsidies to make some money. I'll end up getting like 1.7 billion in subsidies. And that always helps. Now, plans. Let's look at plans. Okay. These are, whoopsie, I should have not done that. But what I picked on was vehicle storage expansion. Okay. In this scenario, I didn't really do much with plans other than the vehicle storage expansion once, and then the seasonal tours, which you can basically do about every 4 months. It's a cycle. You research the seasonal tour for 30 days, then you get 3 months of increased tourists on weekends and holidays. So in plans, I really, decided not to do a hell of a lot in this scenario. In other scenarios, supplement staff ends up being a real good thing, and that's where that HR guide stock investment will come in handy. Shrines. Now let's talk about shrines. Okay. Okay. So you notice this nice big fancy schmancy setup here? Well, the real deal is they come to visit this little shrine right here. Okay, that's the shrine. Do not pave over it. Yes, I did pave over it in one of my plays, and it's like, whoops. And then I lost the shrine as far as a tourist attraction. Now we have another one right here, Suio Onsen. Once again, whoops, me and my clumsy little fingers. Manual dexterity is not one of my strong suits. Okay, so here's the Suio Onsen Shrine. At first, I was kind of dazzled by the big resort building here, and built a stop up way along here, so that the people had to walk from the stop up above the resort hotel to the Suio Onsen Shrine. Then I found, and I placed a little stop here, and found that they were returning not to the bus station, but to the like Little B Street bus stop, the small one. Okay, now we can talk about stations. So here I have Oma Station right here. I like that the name. Oma in German is kind of like an endearing name for grandmother, Großmutter, Oma. Where do we go? Stations. So let's find our stations. Okay. So right now I have four of them. I start with Oma and Oma Yama, and then I built Iberia Land. Okay. Now, as you notice, it's under construction right now. And West Oima. Okay. So that I can start getting people coming off from the city up north, from Sema. And then I can set up another tourist route. I will set up one more train station, for the third route that goes up to the Suio Onsen Shrine. Subsidiaries. Now, this is really important stuff here. As you can see, I start out with Iberia Land, a resort hotel, a botanical garden. And now, as you can see, I have built a whole bunch of stuff. Some apartment fours near Oma Station. These housing complex fours are these guys that I'm building right here. Whoops, I don't want to do anything there. And oh yeah, these are the apartment twos. And then, I went over into Jiro City here, and as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3. Now I figured that, since on the first day of a scenario, it's land is the cheapest. So now here I decided to start building up. There's a guest ranch here, a zoo here, and a little gaming hall up top. Okay. I built some commercial properties here, a gas station, an auto parts store, and a drugstore. Okay. I will be placing bus stops near each of those. So I built those on purpose where I was going to place bus stops. So subsidiaries is really, that's where you can make your money. Now, let's see. Let's get down to stops. Now, there's basically, aside from the big bus terminal, okay, here you have your basic bus stops, okay? Well, let me just go ahead and let's go into Oma Bus right here. Now, Oma Bus starts out with 2, so the first thing I did was remodel. Same with Iberia Land Bus, 1 bus. Okay, you notice that like these are called bus, so that I know that those are like main bus stops. Here, I've created little stops. Now, I had to create 2 in Oma. So I created 1 here, and I created Oma 2 here. These are what are called the basic B stop. In other words, the stop is on both sides of the road. So two-way traffic. Okay? Now what I did, and then I got fancy, right here. And you can see what I did is I built these basic bus stops. These are one-sided, okay? So I built, come in right here. You can see that there's a bus stop right here, but it's one-sided. Now, Japanese, like the British, they drive on the left side of the road. So I put one here, and then I put another one right over here, right in front of this apartment building. And the reason being, let's go to here. Let's pick a bus. Okay, and let's go into the operating schedule and look at the operating route. Now, one of the quirks that this thing has is that buses, as you notice, the bus will come up here and hang a right, the first right, and then come up and go north. On the way back, it makes the first right here, okay, and goes down. So I use this to use these little stops here to basically take advantage of how the bus route is going and how I can force the bus to go from stop to stop to stop and follow a certain route. Now, I will say that placing buses can be a real pain in the behind. This is the one that starts off the map up here, and as you can see here, I have this is in the middle instead of, say, on the top. Now, I'm going to talk more about bus scheduling in a moment, in another segment, okay? So, stops, basically, you have three different kinds, and I find that they're very good for two purposes: guiding a bus along a route that you want, and butts and seats. Okay, this is all about butts and seats. When you get trains and buses, you want to put butts and seats. So you're going to build some stops here to get traffic going. Now, I built this stop here out in the middle of what almost looks kind of like nowhere, and this will develop this area. So wherever you put a bus stop, it will develop the area. Okay, let's look at, now the last thing that I want to talk about is buying land. Real simple. I ended up buying some land. I planned on putting a depot here, and then another building, a residential building here, a 1 square one. So I decided that it's not going to be any cheaper later on in the game. So around my stations, I started buying up some lots just so that it's cheap, and I want to make sure that the system doesn't build where I want to build. Okay, so now it's April 8th, so I've moved a couple of days forward. And the first part I called phase 1, that I built basically on April 1st. I added a bus on April 2nd. Now that my station is complete, I could run my lines up and connect to the city. Okay? And when I connect to the city, it's just a matter of double confirm. Okay? Now you can have some fun with like hills and stuff. Okay, so like if I go here and I incline, whoa, let's rotate. Now, okay, I can go next, and boom, and I'm right on the other side, and then if I want, I can extend. Okay? Doesn't matter. This is just playing around in a test. So I've connected up Oima, which is a kind of a short route. Okay? And I have a train sitting in West Oima Station. Now that has connected up Oima Shrine. Okay? So now what I did is I made sure to stay away from the shrine. I'm building a tennis court, a resort hotel, and a golf course up here. And you noticed I did a little bit of slick work here, doing a turning incline, getting up here and stuff, so that. And as you see, I've reserved some land here because I can build a road coming down and connecting up here eventually. You also see that I've got buses ready to go. I've connected up the Iberia land station, okay, as you can see. Rather than kind of trying to go down and doing a funky little turn around here and wiping out some houses, I decided to take a little bit of a longer route that allows me to cross the road with a bridge. Okay, you can see I cut the corner here and got a nice little, almost like an S curve going on. And now I will be placing another station here. On the 21st, I will get my vehicle expansion done, and I will get more buses. And so that's what I'm waiting for. So I will build the station about the 15th so that it's done on the 21st, and then I can set that up. So phase one was April, beginning of April. This is the phase two, April 8th, and then on the 22nd will be phase three. Now, let's talk about stations. Okay, now as you can see, I've got my stations here. And let's look at train schedules. Okay, I've got trains color coded nice by the route. The number just represents the route color number. So let's look at Iberia. So now I have very important stuff. Now, I do not do stoppage time and start and then try to determine operating hours. What I do, okay, trains and buses run on schedules, okay? So this train I've got set to wake up at 5 o'clock and start, well, to go at 5 o'clock. It's going to take a loop time of 5.5 hours, and I can run that 3 times. And you can see up here I got 5, 10:30, and 1600, so about 21:30 it's going to end. You can see it takes about 2.5 hours to get here. Now if you notice, it's going to start at 4:50. Let's go to operating hours. So now my operating hour is 4:50. I do not start at 5 o'clock. If you do, you don't pick up any passengers. So you start 10 minutes ahead of time. And here's my end time of 2200, which is about right. Okay? So that's your basic train schedules. Now the fun stuff comes with the bus schedules, okay? So I've got a bunch of stops here. You notice bus, bus, bunch of stops, bus, bus. Now, one of the things that I did here, okay, first thing I did was built this Iberia Land 2 bus. Even though I did not use it for a couple days, I built it so that when I build the train, it doesn't hog up that spot. Important is that, you know, kind of like bras, I like to lift and separate my bus stations. So rather than have one bus station with a ton of buses going through, I have 2 bus stations here. They're separate. The passengers can walk back and forth. Now, I have some buses sitting in the depot here, okay? I thought that I'd have more than 3 buses. So I can have 3 buses parked here in this 3-slot bus station. You can do a 5 one, but it takes up 2 squares. And if you add depots, you can basically turn these 3 slots into servicing not 3 buses, but like 6 buses, maybe even 9. Let's go into my buses. Now, the other thing I like to do is, you can see I color code my buses. Another interesting thing that you can do, okay, is sort. So like here, I can move that up or down, okay, by sorting. This way, what I can do is keep my bus lines together. and that makes it easier to deal with. So I'll add a 5 and a 6 here, and then move them up so that they're all together. Okay, so right now I've got 3 basic bus lines. Now the buses are a lot of fun. So here, what I'm doing is I'm starting at let's see, 5 o'clock. Okay, you can see my wake up time is 4:50. Gives me 10 minutes to load, and 4:50, 23:10 for my stop and start. Now, bus number 3 has the same route, but it stopped this number 2. That's the slot number in this bus stop that it goes to. So now the second bus is going to slot 2 and slot 2. Okay? And notice that the departure time now is, instead of 5, is 5:30. And here you can see a trip time of 6 hours, 20 minutes. Run it 3 times. And that way the buses always come back to the barn. Sometimes you got to make sure that you give enough loop time. Otherwise, they might not cooperate with you. Like over here. Now you can see I've even placed these guys in the depot. Okay. So this is now the Iberia Land 2 going to West Oima. And if I look and see my Iberia Land Bus 2, okay, this guy, it's a 9-hour loop time, runs it 2 times. So longer routes, you can't run as many loops. And of course, start up at 4:30 because I've got these guys sitting in a depot. So I want to give a half-hour lead time to make sure they get from the depot to their parking slot, have time to pick up passengers and move on. And then we have depot settings. So for here, he's going to run into Iberia Land Depot 1. So depots are really, really important, okay? So that pretty much, so you know, to me, the whole key is separate your bus stations. That way you don't have too many passengers piling up on one station, too many buses trying to conflict with it. Plus, it also shortens up the route a little. You see, I did the same thing here. I have the West Oima 1 bus here, the West Oima 2 bus sitting over here, and the 2 bus services the shrine. Now, let's talk about trade. This is the one thing. Now, I don't do any trade here, but I just want to show you some slick little tricks here. Right here, they talk about the fishing harbor, okay? It produces 10 fishies per day. And it produces the fishies at 10 a.m. Same with agriculture and stuff. So things that produce at 10 a.m. And at first I watched a video where the guy put in a second train line here so that he could run a train back and forth to take the fish to. Look at the trade opportunities. Okay, so I can purchase, I can sell. So here in Sema, to the north, I could sell 4 fishies. Okay, so it looked like I had a lot of fishies I could sell. And you can see they have varying, like this 280 for 6.18 million a pop. Okay, that was like the best one, so I kind of would pick that one. And I can buy it at 5,400,000. Okay, my local sale price is 6,480,000. And if I built a distribution subsidiary, I could take advantage of it. Okay, now what I wanted to show you, now the guy that did this video that I saw at first, he placed this marine products warehouse down here, okay, and then rent a truck stop here to up here, and place another warehouse right here to run to the train station. And that ended up being kind of really lame. Now, if I place, let's just see if I can get it. There we go. Now, but if I place it here, where it's, see that light green right there, shaded area, shows me that it will upload fish from the harbor to the warehouse, from the warehouse to the train station. So, didn't even need to do any trucking. And this is the best way to do it, is to like get your warehouse next to where, like a train station. So you cut out a layer of transportation. Okay? Now, let's come back here. And let's just have a little fun. I just want to... That's the cute little Ayaka. Now, let's watch the buses run. And then watch a little bit of passenger flow. Can see some tourists are coming out. Now, in gray, they're like outgoing. And then you'll see some that are white that are incoming. So it looks like we got a lot going out. And of course, when you first set up a run, there's not much going on. Okay. Now you can see how they switch. Now these guys are incoming, going over to Oima. But as you can see now, how the staggered starts and stuff. So this is why you want to have staggered starts, and then these guys will go back into the barn. And if you have some passengers left over at midnight, don't worry about it. As long as you don't have like 700 or 800, then it'll go kind of haywire on you. Back again for phase 3, and this is the Suio Extension now. So I have built up this train station, and I have some housing going on here, some apartment 2s, and a supermarket. I still have some land to build on. And if I come up here, we can see that around Suio, I have built some area here, put in things like an eatery, a supermarket. Here's a gift shop too, a gaming hall, a kiosk, a seafood restaurant, a tea house, and a gas station. Okay, so I decided to build things up. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and let's let clock run a little bit. Now here, each one of these, now as you can see, they've all dumped into the depot here. We're not going to see a hell of a lot going on. But in phase 1, I started out with $37 billion, and I spent 18. Left me with 19 billion. Then in phase 2, I had about 19 billion, so I spent 13 and had 6. And now I just finished up my third phase. I spent 5 billion and have like about a billion left. You can see that I have like a whole bunch of all these little like yellow hard hats with the green plus. Those are all construction projects that will finish up. Now, let's come over here. And, okay, we can kind of see a little better here the flow, okay, of people going back and forth from stop to stop, and you can see to the train station. Okay, and now what happened is the Suio Onsen got upgraded to a 2-star because I basically let it go. Built it up. Over here, I've got 2 buses, and you can see that I tend to not have many people waiting here. Now, one of the things is traffic is a lot of ebb and flow, and you're never going to pick up your everybody from a stop at once. So I don't worry about these little red not picking up everybody signs, because I've got a nice staggered arrival and departure of buses and train to pick things up. And then, whoops, over here now he'll bring some people in to the bus. Now at night, I'm going to have extra people. These are incoming that will be going to Suio Onsen. And let's see, I don't have anybody waiting to go back yet. So this is, adding the third thing. Let's just go ahead and take a quick stop and go into the reports and just take a quick look at the income statement. Like right now you can see I'm down 5.245 billion yen, okay? And it certainly looks like I've dug myself into the deep dew, but that's not a problem. So this is phase 3, and I am going to build things up a little more, and I will be back on I think it's like July 1st to do one last build in this kind of fiscal year. Back again, it's July 1st, and I just built this aquarium for about $6 billion. I had bought the land earlier, figuring that, price of land's only going to go up, up, up. And I just wanted to try to bring more appeal in here. Now, as you can see, I've got like 300. One thing I don't like is that, like the incoming shows up, and then you got the outgoing behind, and you can't see how many people. Now, one of my big adages is build and test. And I forgot to do that right here with the last 2 buses I added, okay? Bus 7 and 8. What happened is that I didn't change the depot setting. And now I can't select the depot, or like a new depot, and I can't delete the current one. So I'm kind of stuck here. So the game can be very unforgiving. If you don't change it when you place things, whoopsie. Now, one of the things I like is this copy command. I can copy all, the operating schedule, or just the name. And here, I'm not going to copy anything. And so you can really, once you organize this, what I have is like all the odd numbers go to the same station. The even numbers to the same but different station at the end. That way I always know that odds are going to line up and evens are going to line up. Now, let's hold on a second and start the clock. We're almost out of funds. It's only a matter of time before we go bankrupt. Well, I spent $6 billion and left myself with only 156 million yen. But that's more than enough money now. Now, as you can see, let's watch the little buses move. One bus will come out of the depot here, and then he'll move in. Now, I've got these running on a 1-hour delay. Whoa, let's just stop. Now you can see that I haven't quite cleaned this area out. And once again, he's more worried about the money, but I got plenty of money. Right now, I'm just making money. You know, I went from 156. I got 600 now. You know, so I knew I could run myself down in funds, no problem. Now, at this point, I had decided I was going to put in some depots here and extra buses. And then all of a sudden, I saw that, man, I couldn't pick up anybody. The buses weren't picking up people, the tourists, and they weren't filling up and stuff. And what I discovered was that I basically ran out of employees. Okay, so I start out with 237 employees. So one of the reasons why I was able to build so many businesses. Now here, Suio Onsen is now been upgraded from 1 star to a 2 star, as far as a tourist attraction goes. So now, yeah, we're in the middle of the night here. So you got to be very careful about employee numbers. And once again, this is the thing about build and test, because what you don't want to do is paint yourself into a doggone corner. Okay, like I did with the bus in Suio Onsen, and at first with the buses, extra buses here. And I've got 24 buses, and I found out I never had to build another bus the rest of the scenario. So as you can see, I mean, these guys are just moving right along, and this is the reason why you want to have separate bus stations, okay? It just cuts down on congestion and stuff. And what I've discovered is that there's about at least a 12 tile range as far as passengers going from like a stop to a shrine. So you got about 12 tiles that you can spread out. So I think this is enough for this particular segment. I'm going to be back at the fiscal year end, and let's see if I actually made any money. I am an accountant. Okay, we're back again. It is March 31st of the first fiscal year. And as you can see, you know, I am the Midnight Rambler. The aquarium is now finished. So let's have a little bit of fun and run some clock and watch the action. And let's see what the final verdict is for my profitability for my first year of operation. So now we just got to wait, and here go the buses. The nice little ebb and flow dance. You know, it just, passengers are always coming and going, and weekends will be good for tourists. Weekdays are good for commuters. And I found that, and as you can see now, people are heading off to the aquarium here, where they don't head off to the zoo or the guest ranch. And then what I found was that a kind of a nice surprise. If I come in here, go to tourist information, notice that the aquarium itself is a tourist trap. Okay, so you see I've got now 2 of them here. So I didn't realize that was going to be the case when I first built it. So now what we're going to have to do is go through the whole day and the night, and then when it hits midnight, we get to see how I did for the first fiscal year. Ta-da! Oh, look how happy Makoto is. We finished with the surplus, okay? So, after taxes, my net earnings were 7.8 billion yen. Net earnings before taxes was 14.5 billion yen. So I'm going to pay 6 billion yen, 6.7 billion yen in taxes. Let's look at some details here. You can see, like, my railroad sales were about 1.8 billion, costs 892. Not bad. The road transport sales were pretty good, 988 million, and only a 222 cost. the subsidiary sales were where I make the money. 30 billion less 13, so I had a good cost of um, um, good gross margin percentage. Now, some things like depreciation, that will be the whole year of depreciation. When you build a building, you get charged for the whole year of depreciation from whenever you built it. So it'll be kind of prorated for the year. If it's like half a year, it'll be half a year's worth of depreciation. Had some dividend income from the stock purchases, advertising revenue, and that subsidy revenue of 1.7 billion. Okay, so that did a really nice job there. Now let's whoops. Okie doke. Let's go ahead and stop for a minute, and we're going to come back in here, and let's take a look at the balance sheet. Okay, so now I'm already got enough capital. I need to have about 1.9 billion in net assets, and I've got about 7.3, something like that. I needed like 70 billion in total assets. I've got 82. Now you can see that I've got 6.7 billion in unpaid corporate taxes, 951 million in fixed asset and other taxes like land tax. So I've got to have about 7.7 billion just to pay my taxes off, and that's going to happen in on May 31st. Now I'm still got to work on my initial public offering, so I have to go through one more year. Now I lost 4 employees, I think like in December, but then in May 15th I'll gain a whole bunch of employees, and then I'll actually be able to build some stuff. So as you can see, I really like how I separate bus stations, and it makes everything just work so much smoother. And you can see how they're just busy. So having these people in the early morning, yeah. Okay, check. I'm not really worried about zoning changes at this point, and you can see how the people are flowing into the aquarium now, because that's a new tourist hotspot. Like I said, the Iberia land is like your nice big nexus. And these guys are moving along over here in Oima to the Oima Shrine. You can see the nice big golf course right there. I never did build anything here because I had to wait for more employees. And then over here we have Isoya for the Suio run. Okay, we're up here. Let's see, what do we have? 150 waiting here. And you can see that bus is sitting out there because I didn't build and test and make sure that it was into the correct depot. So build and test, build and test. And you can see almost station. You can see I built another building there, and I never got around to building the depots because I didn't need them. I didn't realize that once I got 24 buses built, that really it was just running. You don't want to overbuild your buses because you want to keep that profit up. Let's go. Let's come back up here, look at the autos. Now you see like this OMA 1 bus with, was it like 5 guys in the red here? You know, they say, oh, that looks kind of bad. No, what I see is green. That's money, 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 money. Okay? So that's butts in seats, my friends. Now one person, that doesn't look good. There's some Oima Shrine with nothing. And you're going to have that. Not all because of ebb and flow in your passenger flow. Sometimes you might have buses running kind of empty. But as you can see, Ah, me and my manual dexterity challenge fingers. Let's. Doggone it! I wanted to try to show the lights and stuff. Hmm. So it's of course now it's shut down. But yeah, it just once you get these buses built up and stuff, and I had all kinds of different new streets built in, connecting up my bus routes. My buses never lost track like some people report. So I'll be back. And I'll be able to show you basically kind of like my final build where I get some more employees. Back again, it's May 16th. And if we come down here and take a look at the reports on the company information, we can see now that I've got 442 employees. So I gained 209. Now every year you'll get like a influx of new employees, which means you can build more subsidiaries, buses, trains, things like that, which is what I did. And you can also see, look at how this West Oima area has just grown. These all used to be like the little dirt roads like that. And now you see they're filling in, they're connecting, and my buses aren't being affected. Now, this build was all about butts and seats. So I built a lot of apartment fours, right? Oh, that's, I guess, a machine one. And there's a seafood restaurant. And apartment four, and then there's an apartment three. Same thing here. I built a little more. I built another apartment four. I never did use this area for the depots, and I never used it to build. And then once again over here, I built a bunch of apartment fours to let it build up population. So let's just go ahead and let some clock run a little bit. And I still haven't changed how many buses I need. And let's see, come on. So there's 182, so he's going. And you can see how they're going from here to there. And in comes a new influx. And you can see how I'm just starting to, get my buses going in. And they're picking up lots of people. So it's all about ebb and flow. Okay, day and night, weekdays, weekends, even seasons. Summer is more of a peak tourist season. And yeah, so you'll see a lot more tourists. Ah, there we go. Now I'm watching the nightlife here. I think I'm not going to mess with it so that now a lot of times the thing will be spinning around, but I guess maybe I've got so much stuff going on that it doesn't like doing that. And for some odd reason, I wished it would have given Iberia Land like another star for appeal, or maybe even the Aquarium. But yeah, this was all about butts and seats, just my last build. Uh, I don't need to build any more. And now it's just a matter of just letting the clock run and finishing up the scenario. Here we are. It's March 31st of the end of the second fiscal year. So I need to have a surplus running for 2 years. Here shows some overseas trade possibilities. What I found was trades don't last forever. Like I could run some fish up to SEMA, but in that first year, by July, SEMA didn't want to buy any more fish. And that's why I decided I didn't need to do trade in this scenario. It was all about just getting these tourist attractions working nice, building up the city, building up near my um, bus station. So as you can see, here's my apartment building 4. And let's come back here, and you can see that it's kind of tough to see my stuff now that I've got all these. There's the little bus station right there. And I don't know that. Oh yeah, and then I did, as you can see, I finally built up near the Oima Shrine bus. Put in a couple of more apartment 4s and apartment 3. And if we come over here, you can see that yeah, that area now. Okay, Makoto, happy again. Okay, you can see the income trend line went up more than you can see. My cost didn't go up quite as much. Okay, so now I made 10.5 billion net earnings, 19.7 billion earnings before taxes, and 9.1 billion of corporate taxes. And let's just take a quick look. Look at that, 40 billion in subsidiary sales, 2.5 billion in railroad sales. So really, everything was nice. And the donations. That's like when I build a road, I'm donating it to the cities. Okay. So the first year it was like 1.9 billion, or almost 2, or maybe a little over 2 billion. But this time only 203 million. I just didn't need to um, do much donation stuff. Okay. And now, congratulations, we have been a surplus for 2 years in a row. And we've been running at a surplus for 2 consecutive years. Now we can do the IPO. Okay. So let's still didn't really update anything. So let's just stop the clock for a moment. And let us take a look in plans. What's the plan, man? Notice I'm not even doing any plans. Now, I don't have right around here you would see seasonal tour, but I didn't do that. So here in the IPO, we'll make our company shares public on the stock exchange. My net assets of 10 billion, I've got the retained earnings of 2 billion, I've got the surplus more than 2 consecutive years, I've got. So what it does is when I go ahead and confirm, okay, it'll take 120 days to basically get what I want at the end for the victory. Okay, let's just take a real quick look here and watch a little bit of ebb and flow. Man, I just cannot seem to get it to want to go up. Oh well. And some rain. Got to have some rain. So now, as you can see, it's still the same number of buses, and it's just working like a charm. Okay? And I built up the town. You can see how they're cruising over to the Aquarium now, and then they can switch from station to station. So like you can go from Iberia land over here to Oima to the shrine, or come back and go over to West Suio and go up to the Suio Extension shrine. So, now that I've got that taken care of, it's just a matter of running clock and waiting for the 120 days to pop up, and then I gain victory. Back again for the final segment. So let's go ahead and start running clock. As you can see, my IPO plan is set to finish up today. So now we can go ahead and run clock and basically see that I've achieved the victory. You know, I had the 200,000 annual tourists in the first year, and now I had to just wait until 2 years had passed. I'd done the profits, I'd made the money, And our company has gone public. Issuing new shares has increased our capital. Congratulations, our company has gone public. We've held our initial public offering. Now we're finally a publicly listed company. Improving our reputation like this will make it easier for us in terms of gaining new stockholders and obtaining financing. So yada, yada, yada. And we get a credit rating of A++, which is not bad. AAA is the best you get in this game. And the market capitalization, 70 billion yen. And so this was an interesting, this was like one of the tutorials. And just a whole bunch of complete nothingness. And then what it'll do is it'll go ahead and dump us into the victory screen. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you found some interesting tips that you can use in playing the game at home. You know, build and test, and just being careful of how you do things. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a great day.